Hi. Okay, so welcome to yet another episode of The Diary of a Lost and Found Child. You can find me on Instagram, or you can find the page on Instagram that is at Diary Fairy. I'm okay type to The Diary of a Lost and Found Child for shorter to get. So, hi. If you've managed to come to this episode, it means you're kind of interested in this whole aspect of self actualization, which is literally the background of this podcast. My name is Tabby. If you like, you can call me Tabs. Karibu Sana episode 3. Yeah, remember when you said consistency? In it, girl. In it. I want to appreciate everyone who's come with me through this journey kutoka season 1. Tulianza audio, tukaenda all, of course, obviously we are available across all platforms. Tukaingia season 2, ikakuwa visual, I featured my friends. Season 3, let's see, perhaps it'll be more features or more solo, but visual for sure. If you're new here, karibu. Maslow alidiscover kitu important sana, na hiyo ndio ilistick mimi nikiwa kampu. Kasema tusonge nayo. I might as well, kwa sababu mimi vitu nilisoma campus, hizo vitu nimechoose kufanya kama career. So yeah. A little bit about me. I studied what people call community development, but my degree is sustainable human development. It does a lot of stuff. I guess that's why kuna mtu mengi English kanisha. But nikitoka huko nje kwa life, I've always had a bit of media babe thingy in me. At some point I thought I was gonna be a lawyer, but because I'm very chatty, and then I just followed media and ended up in radio, and now I'm doing a pod, and I'm also an event host. So call me for your events. Now, watu husema, wezi chagua kazi, but to be honest, when I say I'm an event host, I mean, like, if it's like social events, it's like graduations, retirement parties, not weddings, not rurashios, hizo misifanyange, funerals, no. Also, big stages, the big events, also galas, private events, corporate events, also, that's me, that's your girl, okay? Anyway, so this episode, for a long time in my life, I thought I was in a Bardo season of my life. Okay, let me just rewind on that. So Bardo is like midpoint, like season of waiting. That's what they call it, right? And it's so funny because the other day I was going through TikTok, and I met people talking about this, waiting season, being in, a point of uncertainty, and you're just like, it's almost like waiting, but it's also like a breathing season, right? You're not, you're almost not moving forward, but you're also not moving backward. You're just somewhere, floating like like earth, yeah. And to me, I was curious. I went to ChatGPT. By the way, my ChatGPT is called Baby Boo, so anytime I'm like prompting it, I'm like, hey Baby Boo, what on with blah blah blah. Anyway, so I went to Baby Boo and asked Baby Boo, this season of uncertainty and not being sure of anything, and just curiosity, and like almost like waiting, but also resting, but also breathing, but you're like not sure of none of that. What is that all about? What is it supposed to be? And ChatGPT gave me a response, and it said it's something called a Bardo Effect. That's Bardo effect. And that's like a midpoint of your life where things are not working out, but they're also not failing, but you're like curious because you're not moving forward, you're also not moving backward, you just, know what I mean? So for the longest time, I felt like that I was in that place, and I'm talking years, I'm talking more than 3 years, yeah? And hence, this episode is called the Bardo Effect, aka the waiting season, aka the breathing season, aka the decision season. So what GPT told me, what Baby Boo told me, it's a season of waiting. You're supposed to reevaluate most things, and in real sense, that's what happens. Yeah, you're like, am I actually doing the right thing? Should I start money laundering? No. Should I just get married then? No. Should I just, keep pushing in my career? I don't know, it's not working out. Should I go back to school? I saw someone on Twitter say, at least studying for a master's to prolong something to do with responsibility of life or like marriage or whatever. You know how you say like, okay, basically that tweet was an expression of like how good it is to fikiria kwenda kusoma masters or whatever, do escape life ya kutafuta do, kujihasolia, cause what in the hell is the ghetto, So yeah, so GPT told me about the Bardo Effect, and before that I didn't know it had a name, right? And then over time I got curious and I did my research about this, and I even went to TikTok. I saw people talking about that waiting season. Let me give an example of what a waiting season is. You're in a place where you're feeling like your job is wasting your time, draining the life out of you. You're also probably a bit broke because you're like, kazi nafanya, taxes nachukua zote, nacho bila kitu, nalipa bills, narudi zero, niko madeni na and also you're like, maybe I should quit my job and open I don't know, do music, maybe get into acting. If you're a creative, I'm sure you've been in this place, especially if you're a creative and you've been employed, you've been in the corporate world, corporate world drain, you have no time to do your creative stuff, right? So that's an example of that. And I actually came across someone who on TikTok, and she said, I've been feeling lately like my corporate job is not working for me, so I want to say fuck this shit, I want to start creating content. But I'm also feeling like sina your content, like I sina ideas. Actually, I think hata aliquit kazi yake akajikuta hajaanza kufanya content. She's like, what the hell? What's going on? Like, what is this? Where's the motivation? I said I'm gonna do this, but I'm not. And I related to all that so much. Actually, way too much. Actually, that is almost like my story, right? Because many creative, by the way. Many say my ideas, and when I'm around the right people, zo flow like juices, baby. I mean, anyway, so I did actually indeed, because before I quit my corporate job, I said actually it's a contract that I decided not to renew, because again I was feeling like shit. I was drained, man. I think I was even getting acne or whatever. I wasn't feeling myself. I was like, but I want to build all these things, and I just don't find myself having time. I'm in like a rotation of life, like wake up, go to work, come back tired, smoke a J, sleep, repeat. You know what I mean? And I discovered that's what's called the Bardo Effect, because you're in a middle, like you're in a changing room, right? Kwa life yako, but also uko like unajaribu kujipea motivation, because you said you do stuff, right? You leave your job, you start, I don't know, vlogging, blogging, you'll start, whatever creatives do. And then so what I didn't understand is what this season is supposed to be about, because for me I thought it's like a waiting season where you wait for, I don't know, some miracle to happen to give you the prompt to be like, yes, let's start creating content. Turns out it's only Jabba. It's a Jabba. It's like Jabba, proper Jabba. Okay. So it's not waiting. That's what I discovered. It's not supposed to be a waiting season, because what are you waiting for? You have everything. And for me, for the longest time, when I said this over 3 years, I thought I'm waiting to, get money so that I start creating content, get money so that I start dressing up nicely and start doing blah, 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 or, get money so that I set up a studio, and then all those things. Again, the base was always money. So you then realize that years and years are going by and you've not done what you said you're supposed to be doing. So I discovered that the Bardo season, the waiting season, or rather this midpoint thing, this point in your life where you're in between stuff, and you're in between stuff because you're trying to get to do what you feel like you should be doing, but you're not, right? So for me, it was like I need to just get into this pod thing and be serious about it. Again, in the last episode I said, nimeona watu wamebag awards their podcasts have been recognized globally even for doing stuff that they like, and they started somewhere. So I'm like, mi nikingoja hizi do zikam ndo ni set up studio ya maana ndo nifanye, si nitangoja hadi nifike 50. I am joking, man. So it stopped making sense that the in-between time of my life was a waiting. Because what are we waiting for? Nilikuwa employed, kama nilikuwa nangojea do ikam, singekuja nikiwa employed, lakini ikukam bado nilikuwa na struggle. So and then you weigh in between, you're like, okay, so if it's not waiting, what is it? So I discovered this season is a rebuilding season. It's a start where you are with what you have season. It's a grounding back to self season, to be like, okay, I said I'm gonna do this. Hell yeah, I'm gonna do it. Nikwe wapi, I'm gonna fucking do it, right? And so, and when I came to when I was on TikTok, and someone responded to this babe who posted and said, I quit my job, I want to start content creation, like I'm waiting, like nothing is happening, I don't have motivation, whatever. Someone responded with that feedback and said, you're not supposed to be waiting, babe. If you said you're doing something and you've not done it, then you're disappointing yourself, and there's nothing as bad. As many times I've said this, as could you disappoint when you're not doing you can take it and move on, but yourself, it keeps coming back. Like, dude, you're supposed to do ABCD, you've not. So it keeps coming back. So for me, this season, which is I think is something I'm maturing from, it was, I said I'm gonna do this, I'm doing it, and I'll do it, It's also, working on things I've said I'm going to do. Like if I say I will put myself out there to do stuff, I'm going to create content that looks like this so that, I'm visible to this certain audience and blah, 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 I'm going to do it, right? And many people find themselves in this space and just disappearing while they're waiting, right? Because I think we always want to start from a point of perfection, right? Like, and then you look at the people you look up to, and you're like, umse mambo zake ziko hivi na mimi nataka zangu pia ziko hivi. You forget alianzia mahali. And it's actually, if you really think about it, starting is actually the best. It's the hardest part, but once you get into it, you're like, okay girl, okay shawty, So the Bardo Effect is as real as it gets. And I think for me, I think for most of us, it relates so much to us as creatives. If you're a creative, you probably know this. Especially if you're a creative who's been trying to balance, like, doing active life and doing, like, things that you need to be doing, versus practicing your creativity and making it also just work for you, right? I also discovered it's a difficult season to be in, right? Because you're also like, because to be honest, if you're a creative, you want to make your art work for you, right? You want to make it earn, like, it reaches many people, ikupatie opportunity yako kwa na sponsorships and things like that, and you're earning from it, and now you're happy, right? And now you feel stable. But we keep forgetting that also takes time, right? So I think for me, I'm at a place again where I'm maturing from that Bardo place, or that waiting place, or that decision place, and I'm like, fuck it, just do it, man. Like, there is nobody. Kwanza kuna kitu hit recently, I was like, oh hell no. I said, Jesus Christ. It's like, no one's coming to save you. That's the loudest thing that hits my medulla so hard. It was like, whoa, chill, bro. You ain't gonna be so mean. You ain't gonna be so hard. Chill, bro. Because no one is actually coming to save you as a creative. You're gonna have to do your own thing, and you're gonna have to move as delulu, confident, whatever you want to call it, as much as you can, because you won't have people believing in you if you don't believe in yourself, right? And for me, I also got tired of that question, like, can you squeezy how published, squeezy uliacha kufanya nini? And I'm like, okay, yeah, okay. And then you're tired of the response you're saying, because every time I say, give me some time. Tulia, only tulia. Only tulia. Come. But then I kept asking myself, and then I always went to the drawing board and said, okay, for the longest time I've said I want to do this. Why am I not doing it? And then I come back to the same responses. Oh, sina pesa, sina nini, siko wapi, you really have to get out of your own bullshit, man. Matter of fact, I think that's what the Bardo space is supposed to be about. You're supposed to like sit in those excuses long enough you're like, do it, carry goma. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like you actually have to retire from the things you keep telling yourself, and then that makes things don't work out. You know what I mean? So if you're in that phase of your life and you're thinking, I want to start this, I want to do this, but I can't because I have this. And you know what? Let me tell you, your Matthew balance. Inakwanga, okay, first of all, you're in a delulu phase, you're like, walai kazi imenichokesha, walai mimi nataka kuwa employed anymore, walai mimi nataka nifanye mambo zangu na huko. And you're excited about it because you're also frustrated where you are, right? So you're there, you're excited, you're nini, mpaka unaandika hadi strategy, nitafanya content, I do not create. Like for me, I even created my 10 episode plan, nini. Haya, umetoka kwa hiyo kazi, umesema umechoka, left, right? Uko sapa. So hapo uko like, okay, nilisema nitafanya hizi vitu, but kulingana na venye naona, unajua unajipeanga tu excuses, unasema hii kitu acha ningojee mpaka next month kwa sababu kuna deal fulani inaivana huku, wacha ivane ndio nisosi kitu, ndio isaidia hapa. Yaani excuses hazishangi. Haya, deal inaivana, unakuta deal ishaenda, hata ulilipa bills ikaisha. So bado hii story yenyewe ulikuwa umesema utafanya, mzafanya, hujaanza. Lakini let me tell you, wake up every morning you're like, na nilisema sijafanya. Inakuumanga bro, inakuanga paka umedula, inakusumbua hivi. Okay, sasa alafu useme uanze, si ndio umeanza, maybe day 1 umefanya, maybe we ni painter ama we ni singer, umeandika song nini, umeimba, umeperform, umaliza. Sasa kitu kingine the other thing now from there is consistency. Unakuta ini kitu yako, right? So kuna mtu anakuamsha kwambia ndio ufanye, so si employment, unamdosi ni wewe. So now you're there. And then now you're trying to get motivation to wake up and get consistent at it. It's damn difficult, bro. Bro, let me tell you, people who are self-employed and they've employed other people and they're, like their own bosses, may respect people like that. Because being your own boss is way, way more difficult and demanding than actually having a boss that you're responding to. Fucking crazy, the irony, right? So now you're here, you're trying to be consistent, unakuta consistent, unakuta a year has gone by, hujafanya ile kitu, huja succeed, hujaenda sana, now you're punishing yourself, you're like, your life is between. Now you could live your normal life day to day, but that thing keeps biting you in your head, you're like, yo. Until now, one day you retire from your excuses and you're like, come on man, let's be for real. And I think that's where I've gotten there, and now I'm trying to also be consistent to this because I love doing this, man. Really think about it. I love doing it. I didn't want to be in a space where I'm committing so much time and energy to doing things I didn't like, right? And now I decided to do that. And if you really think about it, this is more satisfying. You go by your day and you're like, I recorded an episode today. I can't wait for you guys to see it, and it gives you so much more fulfillment. So if you're in that space, and you're thinking to yourself, hakia Mungu nitajitoa hapa aje, usikwe na pressure. Nakwambia itakutoa wewe mwenyewe. It will toa you, because eventually you get tired of the bullshit. And you're like, I said I'm going to do this, why the hell am I not doing it, right? And I think it's an important space for people to be in, like that's in between things, in between lives, in between choices, decisions, all that. I think it's a nice place to be in because it's a grounding thing. For me, it was a self-grounding thing, because I was like, okay, cool. But at some point you're like, mato nirudi job, niemploywe kidogo, nitafute za kujenga hii empire. And then you realize, bro, kwanza that doesn't even work out for you. You struggle again to go back into that place that you try to get out of. So if you're here and you are feeling like that, sit in your bullshit long enough to get the hell out of it, man. I think that's my takeaway from this. And allow yourself also to don't beat yourself up too hard, but also allow yourself to be in it, in that mid part, that's in between parts season. How are you able to pull yourself out of it? And I think being able to get to the other side has way more satisfaction. I think I'm gonna wrap this up here. I'm glad I started doing this, and if you watched until this episode 3 of season 3 of the Diary of a Lost and Found Child, you're awesome. Thank you. Stay tuned. Next episode we come through with more. Will I have a guest soon? I don't know, maybe. But will we keep having these conversations that allow us to explore who we are in our best selves? Hell yeah. So please subscribe pale YouTube ni Diary, the Diary of a Lost and Found Child. Pale IG pia una follow unajua una repost pia. It's at Diary Fairy. I'm at Diary of a Lost and Found Child. Either way, utani get. My name is Tabby. I've been your host. If you like, call me Tabs. I will be seeing you in the next episode.